Hey guys, this is Marie. I'm here for the second installment of essential oils and hormones. So if you'll hold on just a minute, I will do a screen share and we will get right into the PowerPoint. All right, it's just going to take a few minutes to load. So I called this one Feel the Joy, Hormones and Essential Oils, Part 2. So again, my name is Marie. Kind of the reason why I decided to do this whole series on hormones is because I've been getting a lot of friends and questions about just what to do, and we have a very stressful life, whether you're a single parent or working mother or anything, and so it's really this is really a great series to kind of understand how your hormones all work together. So if you haven't seen it, part 1 is in the description down below. You can always click on and watch part 1. We're going to get right into part 2. Before we do, just a little bit of a disclaimer, right? This is for learning purposes only. I'm not a doctor. I'm just sharing what's worked for me, my friends, and my family. Right? Please consult a healthcare practitioner when you're making any changes to your medical routine. This information is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent diseases. Right? As we go through, the suggestions I will use are specific to Young Living essential oils, and all the statements made have not been evaluated by the FDA. And I'll talk a little bit more later why I use the specific oils I use. For some things you'll be able to use this is what I use, this is what I recommend. All right. And of course, I can't promise you any certain results. Like I said, I can only say what has been working for me and my family. So really, part 1 focused on the reproductive system, and part 2 is going to focus on the endocrine system. And before we talk about the endocrine system and the essential oils, we got to talk a little bit basics about what the endocrine system is, just in case you don't know. So here I have a nice little graphic, kind of splits it into male and female. It tells you a little bit about the major endocrine glands. Right, you'll notice here we've got the pituitary and the pineal up in the brain, the thyroid, the thymus, the adrenal glands, the pancreas, and then of course the reproductive system is part of our endocrine system. So what do these glands affect? They affect a lot of stuff: growth and development, your metabolism, sexual function, reproduction, and your mood, which is kind of why I called this Feel the Joy, because part of this this system helps you to feel happy, to feel sleepy. When everything is working well together, hopefully you are feeling the joy. So we're really going to focus on 2 parts of the endocrine system. Right? We talked about reproductive system in part 1. Part 2, the adrenal glands and the thyroid. And those are our 2 little pictures there. So we're going to start with the thyroid. You can see the thyroid, it kind of looks like a bow tie, and it's right at your neck. So what does the thyroid do? The thyroid is responsible for energy, growth, and metabolism in your body. Problems can occur when these hormone levels are too high or when they're too low. And in fact, this is a fairly common thing. This is about 12% of people will experience abnormal thyroid, and women are more likely to develop thyroid problems than men. And as we get older, this is one of those things that can increase in age. So there's two types of problems with thyroid, which is hypothyroid or low thyroid. Right? And these are just a few of the symptoms. So feeling tired, gaining weight, feeling cold, weakness, aches in your muscles and joints, hair loss, dry, itchy skin, feeling down, feeling depressed, trouble concentrating or remembering, constipation, and then heavy and irregular periods. Then we've got the opposite, which is hyperthyroid, meaning it's overactive, right? And this can include nervousness or anxiety, insomnia and trouble sleeping, that racing heart feel, eyes that appear large, unexplained weight loss, high amounts of perspiration, muscle weakness, lots of bowel movements, and thin, brittle hair. Right, so we've got our two different types. Hypo, which is low, and hyper, which is high. And you'll see here, this is a little picture here just to see where the adrenals are, and that gets more important as we get to the essential oils, which you can see they're right above the kidney there. They're about halfway up your back. And so that's the second part, is the adrenal. So we have the thyroid, now we have the adrenal. So the adrenal glands, again, they're right on top of your kidneys. They have two parts, which is the adrenal cortex, which has cortisol, which you might have heard of before. This helps to regulate your metabolism. It also helps to respond your body to stress. Right? And so that's why you'll see a lot in weight loss products with cortisol, because they're trying to do this. And then there's the aldosterone, which helps control blood pressure. And then the second part is the adrenal, or the adrenaline, that's that fight or flight, where your body reacts to stress. There is a condition called adrenal fatigue. A lot of us that are more health and wellness will talk about this, but it's not always recognized by a lot of doctors. But it's a condition when it strikes people who endure long stretches of mental, physical, or emotional stress. And it's thought to be due to overworked adrenal glands, right? And so this is something that can happen to shift workers, single parents, people with alcohol or drug dependence, or just someone that has a very stressful job, right? You know, parents that are working mothers that, sorry, yeah, any kind of stressful job and any kind of stress over a long period of time can do this. And even though some medical doctors don't recognize it, I've felt the adrenal fatigue before myself. I had one friend that actually lives out of the country, so it's a different healthcare system, and really everything she described to me was adrenal fatigue. She'd had the worst year, and it had just been very extremely stressful, and her body just kind of collapsed when it was finally over and done with, and she finally had everything sorted out. Her body just kind of collapsed because she had so much stress in the past year or two, and it took quite probably a year or so more for her to finally feel better, to kind of work with some of the different doctors. Like I said, this was outside the United States, so they were Oriental doctors, and they worked a lot with her to do some stuff. So for me, I really do believe it's a real thing. Like when you're long periods of time of emotional stress or a stressful job, right? You feel tired all the time. It's just some of these kind of feelings are ongoing fatigue, muscle weakness, lack of appetite, or loss of weight, abdominal pain, nausea, diarrhea, low blood pressure, again, depression and irritability, salt cravings, hypoglycemia, which means that your
your insulin levels go too low, headaches, excessive sweating, and irregular menstruation in irregular periods. So these are all the problems that can happen with the adrenal system. This is a little bit of the basics. And then it's kind of about how can we support our endocrine system? How can we kind of prevent this? And even before we get to the essential oils, right, it always comes back to, a lot of things come back to our diet if we're eating well. So things like iodine, which is in seaweed, dairy, some fermented foods, right? This helps to support the endocrine system. Omega-3s, selenium, and you'll see there's things like spinach, tuna, grass-fed beef, turkey, and beef liver. These all have these omegas and the selenium in it. Zinc and B vitamins. Animal proteins and a lot of the anti-inflammatory plants, right, have these B vitamins. So eating a healthy diet will definitely support your endocrine system and is one of the most important things you can do without, paying a lot of money. Other things that you can do, reduce toxicity. Trying to put next to it, go chemical free. Try to reduce the amount of pollution in, when you go outside, you can't really reduce the pollution or what you come in contact with. But when you come into your own house, you can reduce some of that stuff. So one of those ways you can do that is to go chemical free. I'm not going to go into great detail because that's not really our focus of this particular class. Another way to do it is manage stress, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Right? Reduce inflammation in the body, and to sleep well. Right? So many of us don't sleep that well, and that can also affect both our thyroid and our adrenals. So now we get to the kind of the big thing is how can we use essential oils and supplements to support our endocrine system. Right? And so we're going to start with some general blends and some supplements. I'll talk about some DIY stuff that I use. I'll talk about some very specific things that you can buy. So it's kind of up to you. I want to give you some choices of if you are someone that loves to do DIY and think of different oils and make your own blends, then you can try some of the blends. If you just say, you know what, I just want a ready-made oil blend that I can just use, or a supplement I can use, then there's that too. So we'll give you a couple different choices as we go through the next part of the podcast. The first one, best overall support I have found, is called PD8020. And if you watched part 1, you'll know I also put this in part 1 for the reproductive hormones. I think this is the kind of the best overall one. And if there's only one supplement or oil that you want to try for the endocrine system, this is the one I recommend because it's kind of a very general overall support. It will support your endocrine system. It will also help to support like your entire one. So not just your thyroid, not just your adrenals, but also some of your reproductive stuff. So this is my favorite one to use overall. Right? There's a couple. I also have my own kind of adrenal blend that I use. And you'll see here it's made of 5 different oils. So we've got rosemary, clove, lavender, basil, and peppermint. Right? And you'll see the number in front of it, the 5 and the 3 are how many drops. So I put that many drops and I put it in an 11 milliliter roller bottle. Then after I put all my oils in the bottle, then I add a carrier oil. And a carrier oil is a natural oil. It can be olive oil, it can be coconut oil, it can be almond oil, sesame oil, grapeseed oil. But it's just some oil. It helps to dilute the essential oils down a bit, and it also helps with the absorption, so it's a little bit slower absorption, right? And so I put this adrenal blend together, and I rub it on my adrenal glands. And if you remember from that diagram right at the beginning, so about the middle of the way behind your back, and I just put it right on my adrenal glands.
So that's my blend. The third thing, this one is more for general thyroid support. This one's called Thyromin. Again, it's a supplement. I take 1 pill a day, and it just helps to support my thyroid and help with my energy levels. Right. So the next thing, the big thing, is one of the ways to support our endocrine system is to manage our stress. And there's so much stress. We've got lots of stressful lives. And so I just wanted to put together a few different ways where you can use essential oils for stress. So the first one I got off Dr. Maritza Snyder's website. This is one I've used. This is a nice blend that she has, which is lavender, frankincense, and orange. And again, I mix these all. I love the 11 millimeter roller bottles because you can stick everything in there. You add carrier oil. You can carry it around in your purse. You can put it on your shelf or next to your bed at night. But this is her particular blend that she uses, and that's a great stress relief blend. I also like to use cedarwood and orange. I find it's a great stress relief blend. It's also a great one when I want to sleep. And then one of my favorite blends that I just love is the lemongrass, lavender, and peppermint. This is also a good allergy blend if you have allergies. But I just really love the smells of this, so I find that it helps a lot with my stress. With these, I sometimes diffuse them, right? You can use these in a linen spray, or if you love just the smell of lavender, you can use just lavender in a linen spray. We'll talk a little bit about how you can use that for a restful sleep. But when I use a linen spray, I usually get a small 2 or 4 ounce bottle, spray bottle. You can pick these up off the internet. You can go to Vitamin Shop and get them. And I combine these oils with a little bit of either witch hazel or vodka. Doesn't matter which. I've used both. And so I find it with just a little bit of witch hazel or vodka. And then I fill the rest of the bottle up with water. Because you want to be careful because you know that old saying, oils and water don't mix. So it's always good to have a little bit of witch hazel or vodka in to help to mix everything up. But you will have to shake up the bottle occasionally because it will separate a little bit. Okay, but these are my favorite stress relief oils. Here are some ready-made blends that you can use, and I use them both. The one that's really great is Stress Away. I keep this in my purse. I have a little roller bottle top on it, right? And I can use this any kind of the time of the day or night. I have a Stress Away room spray that I can spray in my office. Right? And I used to spray it a lot. My previous job was very stressful, and I would spray it a lot in my little office with my coworkers, and we'd all take a deep breath and try to relax a little bit. So Stress Away is a great one. Another one I really like is called Release. And really, this is more of an emotional oil, and it's used to release some of your emotions. But I also find that this one helps a lot with stress as well. And you can use these topically. You can put a little bit of carrier oil, and you can roll them on. You can use them as a room spray. I do that sometimes. Or you can diffuse them. So there's several different ways that you can use these. Another way to help your endocrine system is to reduce inflammation. And there are some certain foods that can reduce inflammation. Things like turmeric. If you look on some of my recipes for smoothies, I like to use a lot of turmeric that helps to reduce inflammation. Another great way to help reduce inflammation is probiotics. Right? And so this is my favorite kind of probiotic. It's called Life 9. When you use your probiotics, you want to keep them in the fridge. And I usually take this one in the morning before I eat. I'll take a probiotic. All right. The last thing to help support your endocrine system is to sleep well. And a lot of us, we just don't get enough sleep for whatever reason, whether it's stressful or you have kids and jobs. Somehow, so many of us don't sleep well. And even some of our kids don't sleep well. And so I wanted to give you a few different, again, things that you can do to kind of get a better night's sleep or to help you go to sleep. And so here's a couple of my favorite blends. So the first one is German chamomile, lavender, lemongrass, or lemon. I love the smell of lemongrass. My mom doesn't, so she'd prefer the lemon. But either one is a great one. Petitgrain and citrus fresh. And citrus fresh is a blend of citrus oil. So if you didn't have citrus fresh in particular, then you could take a few, maybe a lemon, an orange, or grapefruit, and kind of combine them together. One thing that I do have a note there is petitgrain and chamomile are very strong oils. So you really want to just start with one drop and then add another drop because they're very strong. Right? And I usually diffuse these before bed just to help me sleep or to help me get to sleep and kind of relax a little bit. There's also some essential oil blends if you don't like to do DIY. My parents really like Peace and Calming. It's not one of my favorites, but I know a lot of people that love Peace and Calming. And so that one is a great one to diffuse. There's also Tranquil, which is a roll-on. So you can roll that on your wrists or around your neck and then go to bed. And that one's a really nice, I really like that one. That's a really nice smell. I like that one much better. You can also use a lavender. You can put a little bit of lavender on your feet, or you can use it as a lavender linen spray. And again, you just take one of those like 2-ounce or 4-ounce spray bottles that you can get, glass spray bottles. Put lavender in it, a little bit of witch hazel or vodka, and then fill it up with water. And you can spray it right on your pillow, on your bed sheet, and that's another great sleep oil if you like that. I'm not a huge fan of lavender. I need to mix it up. I much prefer to do like a cedarwood or an orange type thing because that helps me a lot better. So we have all these great oils to help us manage stress, to sleep better, probiotics to help keep things moving along. But, you know, sometimes you still need more energy. And that energy, and so I wanted to also give you a few energy blends because we can do everything right and still get tired. I still get tired in the middle of the afternoon a lot of times. So I wanted to give you some different energy things. So these are ready-made, and it's great to diffuse or to put on topically. And the other is called Nitro, and this is a little bit different. It's kind of a sports drink, energy type drink. It's all natural, unlike Gatorade or some of the other ones. There's no food coloring in it. It's all natural. The one thing it does have in it is ginseng, so you need to be careful if you are allergic to ginseng. But it has essential oils and ginseng, and it's great. So I have a couple energy blends I make. This one is with all essential oils. So either 10 drops of lemon or lemongrass, 7 peppermint, 5 eucalyptus, and 3 drops of rosemary. That's one of my energy blends to get moving in the afternoon or the morning. And I usually diffuse it, but you probably could put it in a roller bottle and roll it on as well. And then a lot of times I'll make an energy drink in the afternoon. So I'll take this nitro and I'll put it with another kind of overall wellness drink called Ninja Red. Got lots of different oils and some berries, and I really like the taste of it. So I'll combine the two. Usually I'll combine about a shot glass full of the Ninja Red. I'll put in a whole packet of nitro, and then I'll add some seltzer water or mineral water. Right, with the nitro, you can take it right directly. It's a concentrate. You can take it right directly into your mouth, or you can kind of mix up your own little drink, which is what I like to do because and then I can make my own kind of little soda, and it's a healthy type soda. So that's kind of my energy drink. Usually I end up doing this about 3 in the afternoon or so when my energy starts to wane. But those are my two top things to make in my energy. So I've talked a lot about different energy blends, and you've seen some different supplements and some different ready-made blends, and they're all Young Living essential oils. So even before we get to talking about how to order, I want you to just talk about, why do I use Young Living essential oils? There's lots of brands out there and all different prices. I'll tell you right now, Young Living is not the cheapest, but I use it in particular because it is such a good quality oil. And it has this idea of seed to seal. So meaning that all the plants are hand weeded. There's no pesticides, no chemicals, no weed killers. Everything's harvested at its peak. It's a vigorous testing product, and it goes from farm to home, right? Because you need to really be careful when you buy essential oils, because they're not regulated by the FDA or anything. Anybody that has 5% oil in can label their bottles pure oil. So you really want to do some research on what type of essential oils you're using, right? Because not all essential oils are the same. And if you want to know more about the basics of essential oils and a little bit more about that, you can watch my video on Essential Oil Basics 101. I don't want to get too much into that right now, but I like Young Living, and I think it's the best because I know that there's no pesticides, no chemicals, and everything in this, where some brands are cut with carrier oils, formaldehyde, alcohol. So you really do need to do a little research into your things. So this is the one I recommend because I know the great quality that it is. So, we've had so many choices. I gave you about 20 different ideas and things and oils that you can use with your endocrine system. There are still more out there that you can use. There's more that Young Living uses, but I wanted to give you some of the stuff that I use in particular, and particularly kind of let you know what my routine is and how I kind of use these oils. So my routine, usually I'll get up and I have Life 9, which is the probiotic, and the thyroid, and I take those before I eat, have breakfast. They're these two pills, and then a few minutes later I'll have breakfast, right? I usually keep nitro in my purse because when I'm running around, sometimes I need a quick bit of energy. If I'm not running around and I'm actually at home, I'll be able to make my soda with the nitro. I also love to keep the stress away in my purse because, again, you never know. I've some in my house that I can diffuse or put on. I also take it in my purse because I tend to be more stressed when I'm away from the house, right? Sometimes I just want to put it on when I'm in the car even. So I do that during the day. At night, usually I will do the PD 80/20. I'll take a pill of that, right? And then I will put the adrenal blend on right on my adrenal glands right before I go to bed. And in the evening, sometimes I'll do a sleep blend right before bed. Sometimes I'll do a stress blend. Sometimes if I've had a really stressful day, I might come home and put on one of the stress blends even before, just to relax just as I go to bed. So that kind of gives you an idea of my routine and how that works. And again, if you're just wanting to try just one thing, my recommendation is the PD 80/20. Start with that, right? If you know that you have history or you know something else that you want to particularly make sure you support, right? Your probiotics, your thyroid, right? Or you know that you're just extremely stressed all the time or you need to get sleep, then, everybody's a little bit different, but you want to kind of eventually kind of hit all those parts because they all kind of work together. And even though we're not talking about the reproductive system, right, that all works together to kind of make you feel healthy and happy and really to be the best you that you can. So that's kind of my routine and what to do. So probably been asking this question, how can I get these oils? Right? I've talked about them a lot, so how do I get them? So there's two ways. So if you are already a Young Living member, you'll go to your virtual office, you can do a quick order, or if you're on Essential Rewards, you can add it to your next month's order. If you are not a Young Living member, you can go to youngliving.com, or I have a link below, so you can just either click on the link or copy and paste it. It will take you right to Young Living. It'll take you right to my members page. Then you'll pick out retail or wholesale member, right? And probably if you're just doing one or two oils, you're going to pick retail. If you want to learn more about how you can become a wholesale member, you'll go on to the one that says 101 Basic, the video that tells you all about how to be a wholesale member and what oils you get with that. And if you click on the link below or copy and paste, you'll go right to my page. If you go right onto youngliving.com, then you'll need my sponsor and enroller number. That's 11204-753. So those are the two different ways you can order. Right. Things that you can also do, right? Questions. You want to see more tips. You want to know more videos, get more information, right? You can always go to my page, Learn Essential Oils with Marie on Facebook, right? You can go on YouTube and watch part 1. You can go on YouTube and watch 101 Basics. Also, you'll see there's some tip of the week and some other small short videos, right? Another thing you can do to get more information is I have a link below. That's my newsletter. So I put it out once or twice a month, and it has all the new events coming up. It gives you more tips and information and different promotions that I have. So that's the second thing you can do. And then you can always email me at learnessentialoilswithmarie@gmail.com or message me on Facebook. I always love to talk to people and get more questions and really see what kind of information you want, because I want to do classes that people are interested in and people want to know more information about. Right? That's how this particular class came about, because I was talking to people and they would ask me the same questions, and I thought this is a great class to do online. So you can always email me. I'm happy to hop online and also talk to you in on FaceTime. So if you have questions or you want to know more, please do get a hold of me. The last thing is, I had a lot of information on here, and it's just a couple of places online that I went to look for some of my information, especially with the endocrine basics part. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned something, and I hope to talk to you soon. Have a good night.